night. Happy New Year.
Just after nightfall, a U.S. government plane touched down at a military base. On board, Nicolás Maduro, handcuffed, surrounded, silent. Within minutes, he was transferred by helicopter to New York City, where he and his wife now face arraignment on drug trafficking and weapons charges. Then came the images that stunned the world. Posted by the White House itself, video of Maduro in sandals, wrists bound, escorted through a U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration facility. As cameras rolled, the 63-year-old leftist leader looked up and spoke in English.
Good night. Happy New Year. Good night. Happy New Year.
Maduro yelped in pain as he was taken out of the car by U.S. officials. Speculation online suggests he was wounded during his shocking capture from Caracas. But for Venezuela, the night was only beginning. Despite the success of the risky raid, what comes next remains dangerously unclear. President Donald Trump says he is designating people from his cabinet to oversee Venezuela, without saying who or how. Then came the warning. The United States, Trump said, is not afraid of boots on the ground. At the same time, Trump appeared to shut the door on Venezuela's opposition taking power, signaling he could instead work with Maduro's Vice President, Delcy Rodríguez. And behind it all, one interest stood out clearly: oil. Trump said U.S. energy giants would enter Venezuela, spend billions, rebuild infrastructure, and sell vast amounts of oil.
We're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure the people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
President, does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, you know, they always say boots on the ground. Oh, so we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it. But we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly. Could have gone very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot. And we're going to make sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to. We're going to run the country right. It's going to be run very judiciously, very fairly. It's going to make a lot of money. We're going to give money to the people. We're going to reimburse people that were taken advantage of. We're going to take care of everybody. It's very important. We couldn't let them get away with it. You know, they stole our oil. We built that whole industry there.
And you also mentioned the Vice President of Venezuela. Are you going to work with the Vice President of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship going?
I understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation with her, and she's essentially willing to do what we think is necessary to make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
Mr. President, China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to the oil and drugs?
Well, in terms of China and Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to give it. In other words, we'll be selling oil probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
That message landed like a shockwave. U.S.-backed opposition leader Maria Corina Machado declared the hour of freedom has arrived. urging opposition candidate Edmundo González Urrutia to immediately assume the presidency.
Venezuelans, the time for freedom has arrived. As of today, Nicolas Maduro faces international justice for the heinous crimes committed against Venezuelans and citizens of many other nations. Given his refusal to accept a negotiated solution, the United States government has fulfilled its promise to uphold the law. The time has come for popular and national sovereignty to prevail in our country. We are going to restore order, free the political prisoners, build an exceptional country, and bring our children back home. We have fought for years, we have given everything, and it has been worth it. What had to happen is happening. This is the time for the citizens, for those of us who risked everything for democracy. On July 28th, we are the ones who chose Edmundo González Urrutia as the legitimate president of Venezuela, who must immediately assume his constitutional mandate and be recognized as commander-in-chief of the National Armed Forces by all the officers and soldiers who make it up. Today we are prepared to enforce our mandate and take power. Let us remain vigilant, active, and organized until the democratic transition is achieved. A transition that needs all of us. To the Venezuelans who are inside our country, be ready to put into action what we will soon communicate to you through our official channels. To the Venezuelans who are abroad, we need you mobilized, reaching out to governments and citizens around the world, getting them involved from now in the great operation to build the new Venezuela. In these decisive hours, receive all my strength, my trust, and my affection. We all remain alert and in touch. Venezuela will be free. Let's go, hand in hand with God until the end.
But Trump dismissed that path, saying Machado lacks support or respect inside Venezuela. Instead, he praised Rodríguez.
She doesn't have the support within or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect.
Rodríguez fired back, demanding Maduro's release and vowing to defend the country. Hours later, the Venezuelan Supreme Court ordered Rodríguez to assume presidential powers in an acting capacity.
The government of the United States launched an unprecedented military aggression against the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. This truly constitutes a terrible and deeply regrettable stain on the ongoing development of bilateral relations between our nations. During that specific military operation, the esteemed President Nicolas Maduro and the respected First Lady, the first combatant Cilia Flores, were unfortunately captured. We had already issued a clear warning that an aggressive action was indeed underway under completely false excuses, under entirely false pretexts, and that the masks had definitively fallen, thereby revealing that there was only one true and ultimate objective, a complete regime change in Venezuela, and that this regime change would also allow for the capture of our energy resources, our mineral resources, our natural resources. That is the real objective, and the world and the international community must know that this is the case. And the Venezuelan people, fully aware, with the sacred fire of the homeland burning within them, are outraged by the illegal and illegitimate kidnapping of the President and the First Lady, the first fighter, Cilia Flores. All of Venezuela is activated, and the decree, which has already been signed by President Maduro, the only president of Venezuela, there is only one president in this country whose name is Nicolás Maduro Moros. Having meticulously written this significant decree, we are now proceeding within the esteemed National Defense Council to formally deliver it to the distinguished President of the Supreme Court of Justice for its due and essential constitutional support in the Constitutional Chamber. What they did to Venezuela today, they could do to anyone. This brutal use of force to twist the will of the people can be done to any country. Today, they did it to the people of Bolívar. And you can be certain that the Venezuelan people, who are wise, who are patient, who possess strategic patience, will know how to find the path to defend peace, to defend tranquility, and to defend the homeland. Thank you very much to all Venezuelan men and women.
Meanwhile, the night of the raid still hangs over Caracas. Residents woke around 2 a.m. to explosions, airstrikes hitting military bases and airfields for nearly an hour. More than 150 aircraft took part. General Dan Kane says months of intelligence tracked Maduro's daily habits, what he ate, where he slept, even his pets. Maduro and his wife surrendered without resistance. No U.S. lives were lost, but casualties on the Venezuelan side remain unknown. Trump later claimed many Cubans guarding Maduro were killed. By dawn, Caracas was eerily quiet. Smoke in the air, police outside public buildings, a city holding its breath. A president in custody, a country in limbo, and a crisis that may only be entering its most dangerous phase. The world is watching what happens next.